Howdy folks, we're back up in their apartment, guest house, mother-in-law suite, whatever we want to call it. I just wanted to do a quick user review of some of the foam board here. So I did use some of this R-Tech. Both of these products I got at Home Depot. They are available elsewhere, but Home Depot was about the most competitively priced I could find, but furthermore, did find a couple places I could get it elsewhere that were about $1 cheaper per sheet. But of course, the operating hours on those businesses aren't until 9 o'clock at night, when sometimes I can make it out to get things. So here we are. Kind of wanted to show you how I ended up mounting these things to the trusses on the back side of these, what we have now, the wall studs. So what I ended up getting was some fender washers. I think these are like a 3/16. What are these? Yeah, 3/16 by 1.25 inches. And then I got some Spax is the brand, multi-purpose construction screws. So kind of more of a cabinet type screw, so it's got the washer head on it, and that way, if it can ever focus on there, a little bit easier for things to grab on there, and spread out that load so you're not compressing and breaking all that foam. Now with that said, these are a 2-inch long. I got inch thick foam in this case that I'm putting in there. And so what I ended up doing was just screwing. I got my nailer boards here just to thicken this up for, once again, so for my R19 bats to fit into this section. And then this basically is just for further insulation, as well as to hold the bats in from falling out the back side. So with my screws, they go right on in there, hold things nice. These Spax screws, I can't tell you, but these things are fantastic. I mean, it says on the box they've got some patent on them for the threads and all that, but I might believe it. These things just thread in beautifully. Not one of these screws has failed, stripped out, anything. They're just fantastic. So anyway, so that's what I'm using on the back side, and I'm just putting one screw at the top, one screw at the bottom, and then at the ends I've got 3, just to give it a little bit extra support on the ends, and then doing 2 screws on the other foam board up above. So reason I went with 2 different types of foam product is this R-Tech is more of just, for lack of a better word, I forget what the actual type of foam is, poly something, but that stuff is a little bit harder to cut without making a god-awful mess. I mean, I've tried a couple different saw blades, I've tried table saw, and none of this stuff cuts it that great. So you know, this is obviously easily to cut, but it just freaking makes a mess, and stuff gets everywhere, so it drives me nuts. Anyway, so these full boards fit in there perfectly. And then I just was using this other poly type foam. This is not a styrofoam type product. It's actually more of a poly thick rigid foam board. This stuff's a lot more flexible, you know. And the advantage to having this stuff down low is that you can snake it through a narrow area, and it kind of bends, so you got a little bit of wiggle room as you kind of snake it around tight spots. If I was trying to snake a full board of the rigid foam board, the purple stuff through there, it wouldn't happen. It would probably just break. So disadvantage, pro, con. The other interesting thing I found out, well, let's talk about the R value first. So R value on this is a 3.9, and then on the purple stuff it's a lot more money, so it better be a lot better. But I believe this stuff is a R5. Well, let's see if I can find a new board that's not got it somewhere that's covered up. Let's see here. Yeah, an R5, 1 inch thick. So I guess the interesting thing I was going to mention though is both these boards claim to be the same dimension, and they're not for some odd reason. So for instance, this board, foam board here, is a 1 by 48 by 96. Pretty clearly stated. And the purple stuff, is the exact same, supposedly, but let me break it to you, it's not. So on each one of these, I've had to trim the purple foam board because it's longer, just a little bit to get it to work, about an inch every time. So that's just something that's interesting. And then the styrofoam board, the Artec, is a little bit shorter. And so that causes me to have to space it out just enough to get it to line up right where it needs to be in the middle on each one. So a little bit of finesse, but not a big trouble. And I'll show you guys exactly what I mean, that they're not the same length. So let's see. You can stand these up flush to flush, and the Artec board is a little bit less in width as well than the other one by probably about 1/8 of an inch. Might be kind of hard to see on the camera there, but about 1/8 of an inch. And then in terms of length, look at that. They are butted up against each other on the other end, and they are not the same length. And I haven't even checked actually yet to see which one's more true to specification on the actual size. So let's see if I can do that here. So looks like the Artec is a little bit shorter than a full 8-foot board. And then our Owens Corning board, come here. Let's see here. Oh, what do you know? Just over 8 foot. 8 1/4 on the nose. What a pain in the ass. If you say you're gonna make something that's 4 by 8, make it 4 by 8. Gee, many Christmas. Why on earth? If somebody knows the answer to this mystery, I'd be interested in that. I just can't wrap my head around why one would be shorter and one would be longer, but they've all been that way. So overall, very happy with the product, and easy to use. Both of those boards are easy to use. And what I was getting to about the rigid foam board, it cuts easier, a little bit cleaner, and it's got these pre-defined breaks in the board. So it's got, let's see, 3 of them per. And so literally with that, you can just run your knife right down there and flip it over, run the knife on the back side, and they break really super clean, quick, and not a lot of excess stuff falling everywhere. So yeah, that's kind of my review of that. And I have used some of the 2-inch thick Artec downstairs. I didn't use a screw with a washer to attach it. I used some, what are those plastic round cap nails, 3-inchers. And those work alright, but I'll tell you, I've never bent so many nails in my life with the length on those and then trying to line them up. And if you're nailing into something that's been hardened a little bit by time and heat, you're going to bend a few of them. So I highly recommend going with a screw and a washer method. I was not able to find, I know they make plastic cap screws, but I looked high and low and talked to a few building supply companies up here and could not find any. So that's what I got for you. Have a nice day.